relationships, and creating your art. Hey everyone, I'm back, and today I have a really special podcast that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to be doing a few episodes that are live coaching experiences that I do with women. And if you're interested in this, all you have to do is send me a message on Instagram at Heather Chauvin, or send me a text message, 313-710-5199. Just send me a DM on Instagram or text me 313-710-5199, and I will give you the link to register for live coaching. So today we have Carin and we have Katie. And these women, I said, are the brave, courageous women who are stepping up to the plate and speaking their truth and their challenges to be of service to you. I'm a true believer in women helping women rise and women helping women thrive, and this is how we make an impact in the world. There is no shame in our faults. There is no shame in our secrets. There's no shame in the healing that we need to do. And life in general is all about healing. I believe the whole journey of life is to heal. And a lot of the work that I do with my clients is around how do you want to feel in your life? And when we have that anchor feeling of alive, energized, supported, living on purpose, when we're running towards that feeling, we need to unpack. And as we unpack, we shift our communication, we shift our daily habits, we shift how we show up into the world. But sometimes we're stuck in those patterns and we don't know how to get out of it. And I wanted to share today's conversations with you to show you not only a little bit about the coaching that I do or the approach that I take, but also just to show you how quickly you can change your life. Like, I really want you to understand that it's so easy for us to get in our own way and to be stuck and have years and decades telling ourselves the same story. But there's so many intuitive tools that you can use to get yourself unstuck. So we're going to start with Carin, and Carin is a mom of 2, almost 3. She's pregnant, and we've actually worked together previously. And she's a physician assistant, and she goes into her story and the question that she has. But really, in essence, in a nutshell, what her question is around agitation. And I hear this a lot from parents, especially now with COVID and having to educate your children at home, balance it all. People have been balancing it all before COVID, but, when it wasn't a choice that you wanted to make, you're kind of like rushed into it with childcare changing and all of that. So a lot of women are asking, I can't focus. I can't focus when my children are around. I can't focus. I can't focus in general. And I do a very intuitive, thing that I do, where we're talking to the energy. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to show you how quickly you can shift and how you can make an impact in how you feel and how you react and how present you are with yourself and your family. And I also want to remind you that next week we start Courageous Rewrite. So if you've been sitting on the fence, if you're wondering, how can I get back in alignment with my life? How can I manage my energy? How can I manage my time? How can I focus? How can I get clear on what my purpose is and my next vision and how I want to feel? Then you need to head on over to heatherchauvin.com/CR2021. heatherchauvin.com/CR2021, or text me 313-710-5199 and say, send me the details, and we'll send you the details. We start on the 28th, which is next Thursday and Friday. So register today, get your ass over there, heatherchauvin.com/CR2021. www.carinandkatie.com/CR 2021. And if you're not sure if this program is right for you, or maybe you want the next level program, there's actually a link on there. It says book an intro call, and you can book that call and have a conversation with Sasha, and we'll see if the program is a good fit for you. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to feel more patient, more calm, more focused, more in alignment so that you can make a bigger impact in the world and your world, improve your relationships, improve your health, your time, your energy, Courageous Rewrite is a beautiful place to start. All right, let's dive in and hear from Carin. Okay. Carin, welcome.
Thank you.
I attract the most amazing women. I'm just like, here's a link. Let's do some live coaching that I can post on the podcast that millions of people listen to. And we're just going to, just showcase our most vulnerable truths. But isn't it so powerful how when we share our story or our challenges or struggles and work through them, other people gain value.
Yeah, every time.
We're not alone.
Yeah.
We're not alone. All right. So what's your question? What's the sticking point? Let's start there.
Okay. So I am working on starting another facet to my practice. I'm a physician assistant and I do family practice, but I'm getting more into functional medicine and I want to do more online. So just have more flexibility in my schedule. And so I'm looking at doing kind of a health coaching side of it. So I've been writing a lot for that and I love it. It's fun. Actually, I really have enjoyed the writing and creating part. So my sticking point is I'll sit down like, hey, I have this hour, I'm going to write. Great. I write. When I switch gears and like, hey, my hour's done, I'm going back and the kids are home from school or whatever, then I get this like irritable, and I don't even notice it at first. It's like throughout the night, I'm just shorter, like annoyed easily, just things aren't going as smoothly and I can feel the energy in the house is different, like it just all changes. And so what I've noticed is that happens like almost every time I go into this, like, hey, I'm creative and enjoying this and this is really cool. And then switching gears. So that's kind of where it's been a bit of a sticking point.
Perfect. Okay. So we're going to do some woo-woo stuff together because I love the woo.
Yes.
You've worked with me before. You've been to a retreat. You're here for it.
Yeah, I know what I got into.
Perfect. Okay. So let's bring us back to that moment. You're calling it irritability. So we're going to live in that moment. So I want you to close your eyes. And we're calling the energy irritability. This is, I always say, it's just trying to get our attention. Our emotions are just trying to get our attention. Our body's trying to tell us something. So I want you to explain to me how you know that you are irritable in that moment.
I noticed that when my daughter ran up to me to give me a hug and I like tightened, my body tightened. And when my son was singing this annoying song, instead of just laughing, it was like, go outside, like go somewhere else. Like I can't handle it.
Perfect.
So it was like sensitive.
Perfect. Okay. Eyes closed. I want you to visualize yourself in that moment, your body tightening up, the sensitivity. And I want you to bring your energy and attention to it. So what part of your body? Is it the whole body or is it showing up in a specific area of your body?
I'd say like my torso, upper arms, like kind of that whole area feels more tight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So bringing your energy and attention, torso, arms, upper body. And I want you to ask the energy. So we're calling it irritability. We're not looking at your daughter, your son, like we're not looking at your children, and we're actually not looking at you. This is just like the feeling, the energy. So you're just inhaling and exhaling until you can focus on that energy and attention of irritability. And you're going to ask it, why are you here? And what is the first response it tells you?
I'd rather be somewhere else. I think that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather, I like, that like I wasn't done yet, or, and then just like I want more time. Like that's what it kind of feels like.
Awesome. Now I want you to ask the irritability, what do you need to feel safe to leave my body?
Movement came to mind first.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe just acceptance, like that's okay to be irritable, that it or that it's not like a bad feeling, like like acceptance, I guess.
Perfect. So the next step is I want you to visualize right now. So the words that you used were movement. I also heard acceptance. I heard I wasn't done yet. And then I heard time. So oftentimes, logically, we're like, I just need time. I need movement, but I don't have time for movement, or whatever it is. We're getting into our heads. So right now in this visualization, I want you to give your body what it needs. So it wants movement, it wants time, it wants acceptance. What would that look like if you brought that energy? It could be a color, and you brought it right to the irritability. What does that look like?
Kind of looks like two magnets. You put filament down, like steel filament, and you bring a magnet to it, you can see the magnetic field. That's what it kind of looks like.
Perfect. So is it kind of being like pulled out of your body, the irritability?
More like, I don't know, surrounded, I guess.
Okay. Is it getting what it needs to like leave your body?
It feels like it, like a slow process, like not like I don't know how you think it go faster. That's probably not the question, but
You're like, I don't have time for this. Let's speed it up. This is live coaching. Okay. Eyes closed. We have all the time in the world. It actually slows down when we're just giving ourselves permission to be. And everyone that's listening is being reminded of that. Just bringing your energy, your attention back to your breath. Your body is speaking to you. It's asking for your attention. It told you what it needed. Now you're giving it what it needs in real time. Tell me when you feel like that process is complete.
yeah, I feel like it's complete.
Now, what do you want to experience more of in those moments instead of irritability? Or in general, what do you want to feel more of?
Like alive and energized. And present. Yeah.
When you think of when you think of present, what color do you think of?
Like the ocean blue.
So I want you to bring that into your body, especially to that area of irritability. Tell me when you feel like that process is complete.
Yeah, I feel like I'm blue.
Okay. Thanking your body, thanking yourself, thanking the space. And slowly opening your eyes. And I'm going to give you a second just to reflect on the question that you asked, which was, bringing yourself back up when you're triggered, right? Essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That took 9 minutes or less. And this is part of what I teach in my coaching process. But this to me is energetic time management, where we can get immediately triggered, fall down on an emotional guidance scale where we're hanging out in low vibes and we're like, I've been working so hard to get myself back up. And then these damn kids or COVID, or now I got to homeschool and education and work and do all these things. Or, the day just turns around and something happens and we're feel out of control again. And we're trying to construct the perfect path and plan and doing all these things, but it's the emotional control that we're really craving and the energetic control. And so, a million times a day, I'm like, okay, what do you need? Why are you here? Boom. And it becomes a skill, right? And unfortunately, I can give you a PDF on it, but you have to practice it, right? So, and I don't mean you, I mean people in general. So if 9 minutes can shift your energy and you're like, okay, I could do this in 2 minutes or, a quick little practice. Think about the time and the energy we waste stewing in irritability or resentment or anger in general. So I'm just curious your perspective on what we just did and the question that you originally asked.
I do think the base of the question is, I see myself spinning and wasting time in a state I don't want to be in. I'm missing those moments with my kids that I've experienced in a whole different way and different energy. And I think it's interesting because a lot of times I get triggered. In the past, I've gotten triggered from things that I've been working on changing or doing different. I feel like this one felt so different because it was something I was really enjoying and I was still getting triggered, and I think that it makes sense, it's like that shift and that change and those expectations, I have to still kind of reset and rewire.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this. Yeah. And there's always more quote unquote work to be done, right? There's always more to learn and to shift. And I always tell people it's not about it's progress, not perfection. It's self-awareness. And you have to be willing you're human. I think we forget that we're human and, we're like, I got this, I'm fine. It's like, are you really fine? Because I think, I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I went and got a massage the other day. She's like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. And then she's working on my shoulder. She's like, are you sure you're okay? Because the whole right side of your back is fucked up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have this weird trigger finger and I can't type anymore. And I'm like, my finger sticks straight up. And literally it's like this. I'm like, oh yeah. And my arm's going numb, but I'm fine. I'm fine. And And she's laughing hysterically. And I'm laughing because I'm like, unless we're in pain and it's like guts are pouring out of us or like something that's right in our face, we adjust and we course correct, like just slight movements and accommodate until I'm typing and texting like this, not even because I'm not in pain. It's just discomfort. And but one day when my arm completely goes numb or I can't type anymore, I'm like, oh my gosh, now this is a big issue. And I'm getting there. But here's the thing. Women are magical. We can hold a lot. So we have to also be equally aware of how much we have to let go of. Mm-hmm. So expectations of who we need to be, who our children need to be, how we need to show up in the world, how perfect we need to be. We can't have emotion. It's like you can be angry, sad, miserable, all those things. And know that you can shift it a little bit very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's all temporary, right? I mean, it will shift.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So what a brave woman, right? I have the most amazing community of vulnerable, open, spacious women who are just willing to share their truth and not hold back. And I truly believe that is where the magic happens. So now we're going to dive into Katie. And Katie is somebody I admire. She has faced her biggest fears. She has faced her shit. And she's left with this question of, do I stay in this marriage or do I leave? And when do I know? And when do I know that I am running away from this relationship because I'm actually running away from doing the work? And what an amazing question. So many women that I attract, sometimes they're having disconnects in their marriage and it's showing up, it's manifesting from other areas of their life. And sometimes they know it's not going to work. Sometimes they do. But when you're sitting in that state of, do we stay? Do we go? I don't know, right? What's going to happen? So I'm excited for you to dive in and listen to Katie. Before we do, I just want to gently remind you that the countdown is on for Courageous Rewrite. Now, if you're wondering, Heather, who is Courageous Rewrite for? I want you to head on over to heatherchauvin.com/CR 2021. That's Heather Chauvin. My last name is spelled CHAUVIN.com/CR and the year 2021. And this program solves the problem of chronically feeling overwhelmed with your physical to-do list, your mental to-do list, not being able to ask for help. My goal with my book, with my mission, with this podcast, is to help women feel alive. You can work from home. You can be a stay-at-home mom. You can work outside of the home. You can be homeschooling. You can be not homeschooling. You can do whatever the fuck you want and feel amazing. So in Courageous Rewrite, how it works is there's 2 days of 3-hour workshops on the Thursday and Friday. The Thursday, we're going to be talking about how do you want to feel? What exactly do you want your life to look like? And I'm going to be showing you the process of how I teach women how to do that. The reason why I teach you that is, 1, you need to create the space to do it. 2, we're getting super crystal clear. We're pulling back the curtains. What do I really desire? Where's the breadcrumbs? What's my purpose? Getting you in alignment. And then on the second day, I'm going to show you how to actually implement that. Now that you have the vision, now that you know what you want, we're removing perfectionism. We're removing all of the mental bullshit that gets in our way. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then on the Friday, I'm going to show you energetic time management, the strategy behind it. And when you invest, you're also holding yourself accountable to creating that space to do the work. Some of you might actually physically be working during that time and you cannot attend. We do record the workshops. So when you're in it, you're in a community, you're going to be able to listen again and again and again. You're going to do the work. You can get a partner. What else? And then on every Friday for 4 weeks, we have a Q&A. So you can attend that call while you're doing the work, integrating and saying, hey, I have some questions. And then we also have 2 bonus calls. We have 2 bonus calls. One is understanding your child's behavior, and the second one is empowered money. So here's my only tip for you. As women, we overcomplicate everything. If you've been on the fence, you've been wanting to work with me in some capacity, now's the time to take action. If you're wondering, what's my life purpose? What's my next step? How can I create more alignment? I don't want to be burnt out anymore. I really want to understand this energetic time management process so I can feel more alive, so I can give more, so I can be more present in my parenting, so I can truly understand how I'm getting in my own way, how I'm causing my own suffering, and how I can create more abundance. Let's manifest. I'm going to show you how I get a lot done in less time, but I don't have to do all the work. I don't have to do it all. All right, let's dive into Katie. heatherchauvin.com/CR2021. And if you have questions, send me a message. You know where to find me on Instagram or text me 313-710-5199. Let's go, ladies. One precious life. One life. Let us know what your question is, what you're bringing to the table today.
Okay, well, I wrote down that my question is like, when is enough enough? And pertaining to my relationship with my husband, because as I start yelling at the kids again or feel like nobody's listening to me, then I realize I'm not listening to myself, obviously. And when I journal that, I'm trying to figure out what am I not listening to? I keep coming to that I need to leave, that like this isn't going to change until I leave.
I love this question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question is how to determine when it's time to leave and when that's just my mind trying to keep me from having to do the hard work.
Okay, this is a beautiful question. And I know that probably so many women right now are listening thinking, wow, this is me. I'm excited. So, or maybe not excited, maybe terrified, but also curious. And I want to preface it with this. I remember when I would, listen, I'd be driving, listening to the local doctor was like Dr. Joy or something. And she was a psychologist or psychologist probably, giving marriage advice. And people would call in like this, and it was all about relationships. And she'd be like, you got to leave, you got to do this, you got to do this. My lens is, I believe you know the answer. And I also believe that even if somebody else tells you what to do, there has to be this inner knowing in order for it to be sustainable, right? So if you're like, okay, somebody told me to leave, someone said enough is enough, you got to go, you're actually doing that because you're taking somebody else's advice. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, they told me I have to leave, so that's why I left. So I'm still not taking responsibility for my own actions.
Right.
So I'm going to guide you back to yourself, to your knowing. And also, and I'm just saying this just so everyone knows, and you can probably relate to this, Katie, we run away from our truth because it scares the shit out of us.
Yeah.
Because if we actually admit to what we want or desire in our life, we have to own it. And when we own it, we have to take responsibility. And when we take responsibility, we start taking different action. And when we start taking different action, shit blows up in our face before it becomes realigned again.
Yeah.
So your question was, when is enough enough? And I feel like there was something else you said. When is enough enough? What was the second question or part to that?
How do I know when it's time to leave and when it's just my brain trying to keep me from doing the hard work?
Perfect.
Because honestly, I know that the environment that I'm in right now is not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am struggling to decide is what I know is if I change my current situation, then I can have control over the entire environment.
Right. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the conversation started with, when is it time to leave the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
To, I just want to change my environment.
Right. But changing the relationship would make that easier.
Interesting. Let's just go there. Let's just see what's happening.
Okay.
So we don't need to talk about what's happening now because I feel like that's irrelevant because that's your experience.
Yeah.
And then you form opinions about it and it's just like, who cares? It's not in alignment. And there's something inside of you that's saying, not this, not this, not this.
Yes.
So I want you to just close your eyes. And I'm just going to utilize environment. Okay. I'm focusing on the environment. I'm not focusing on the marriage or relationship.
Right.
I'm waving a magic wand. What do you want? Tell me.
I want there to be more encouragement and like life-giving words, empowerment, more fun, lighthearted. And more like striving, like working together as a team or striving for a bigger purpose or bigger goal.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. So, you know that I'm all about, it's the feeling, right? It's the feeling that we want, and we need to recreate the feeling in order to manifest what we desire. And oftentimes we're attached to, this isn't working, therefore I'm going to get rid of it and start fresh.
Right.
And I'm either talking about a marriage, I'm talking about a job, I'm talking about an exercise plan, I'm talking about a business model. I'm literally talking about anything that we attach ourselves to. Not working, it's uncomfortable, not in alignment with how I want to feel. I'm going to get rid of this. So I'm not the one to make the decision of whether you should stay in something or just adjust it.
Yeah.
I can tell you from personal experience that how people perceive my relationship and marriage now is like, oh my God, it must be nice. And I'm like, you do not understand where people start. Right.
Yeah.
And having those stories, it's like when you meet people for the first time and you're like, you're so positive, you're so energizing, you're so whatever. It's like, but you didn't know the depressed, suicidal,
miserable, judgy me. Like you didn't know that old me. I had to kill off that version of me, the broke me, all of that. And you just can't fathom it. But sometimes, in relationships, we're expecting somebody else to become something because we're not becoming that ourselves. We're like, I need your energy of encouragement. I need your energy of life-giving. I need your energy of empowerment because I can't motivate my own ass to do the striving that I want to do.
Right.
And I'm not saying...
Or I can ignore those ugly parts of me, but you keep doing it. So...
Yes. Stop mirroring to me my ugly parts that I don't want to look at.
Right.
And this showed up in my marriage when I was really trying to change my fitness habits, like to actually physically go to the gym or work out or even walk. I was so obsessed with trying to control my husband's movement. Like, oh, you should do this. You should get a membership. You should go here. You should go here. And he always felt judged. And there was this like weird energy between us of like, I'm not enough for you.
Yeah.
I'm not enough for you. And I, you know, I love Carin and Katie, and I'm always like, turn it around. And I'm like, you should go to the gym. And then I'm like, stop. I'm like, Heather, you should go to the gym. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't even think you said it, but the last time we talked and I said, he's not participating in his own rescue. And I don't even think you said it. I said it, but that impacted me so much. Like, what? I'm not participating in my own rescue. I got so mad and like, I'm participating in my fucking rescue. You know, like,
but then you did something about it.
Yeah. Right.
Because I was like, what happened? And you were like, I took action. I did this. I, got another job. I made shit happen. And I was like, you want to run, but you have to walk first. You have to learn how to crawl. And we buy into this like impulsive, like, okay, it's going to happen tomorrow. It's like, but when you're living in a survival mode state in a relationship or in any area of your life, you got to get out of that state in order to get to momentum and then momentum to thrival. But for you to be able to flip that and then go, oh shit. Yeah. So even though these people, we're not labeling them, we're not calling them assholes or anything. These people in our lives, because they are put in our lives to show us and teach us, like they're great teachers. When I used to hear that saying, I was so annoyed. I'm like, what is this person trying to teach me? Why did I fall in love with a drug addict who wouldn't, I'm like, first of all, that's a whole other concept, but here I am enabling somebody and it's like, fix yourself. And it's like, Heather, fix your fucking self. Why do you want to rescue this person? Because you're terrified of letting them go. And it's so easy to project our stuff onto other people than to mirror it and do the work ourselves. So with that said, you use the words encouragement, strive, fun, empowerment. How do you consciously focus on that energy when you're planning your week, planning who you want to become and how you want to feel?
I don't do it very much. I try to be those things with the kids, but in reality, I'm not listening to myself enough, so I don't have enough energy for all of us. Because I am living in a state of survival right now. So as much as I'm holding on to my morning routine and doing what I can, throughout the rest of the day, I'm running on fumes.
Yeah. And when we're low, which is normal, right? And this is, but you're not here to be normal. I don't want to be normal. Normal is, we know what cultural norms look like for women, and I'm not willing to be normal. So when we're low, and then there's this energy that's around us, we're vulnerable to that energy. So as we're bringing ourselves up on the emotional guidance scale, and you're butting up against your beliefs, your conditioning, like so much shit. It's like, it's a challenge. It's an emotional challenge to bust through survival mode to get to a state of momentum. Because the second you have this momentum, you're going to feel a little lighter, a little more energized. You're going to have a little more money in the bank, and you're going to be scared because you're not used to that. It's not comfortable because you're used to survival.
Right.
Have you had any of those periods of vulnerability where you're like, oh my gosh, it's working. And then it's like, ooh, that's scary.
Yeah. And I just read The Big Leap too. And, gosh, I don't remember what exactly happened, but I was telling my accountability group, like, this is an upper limit problem. Like, I was making progress, and then boom, my brain was like, nope, you can't go there.
Yep. And as we continue, we're always going to upper limit. And that's why I'm like, perfection just does not exist in my world. You know, I'm doing great in any aspect of my life. And then all of a sudden I'm like, why am I binging on my chips? Why am I have no energy this week to do this? Why am I blah, 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 blah. All the things that happen behind the scenes that nobody sees. Eat the damn chips. Who fucking cares? But the point is just asking why and going, okay, cool. I'm going to know better next time. And maybe not. Maybe I'll have to learn this lesson 10 times. But I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up.
Right.
So let's pretend the relationship, we're just taking that little boop, that energy out of the environment. How's it so much easier then?
Yeah, it would feel much lighter. Our kids would be happier. Everybody would be happier. And we would be out of survival faster because we'd be encouraging each other.
So what's stopping you from doing that now? And I don't mean ending the relationship. I mean, what's stopping you from encouraging your children and creating this partnership with your children and saying, we're going to live our best fucking life. And if everyone wants to come for the joyride, they can.
I think there's a belief in there as we're talking that I'm not supposed to feel good when shit looks like this. Like in survival mode, you struggle. It's hard.
And how do you react when you believe that it needs to struggle and be hard?
Then I make it fucking hard.
Yeah. And how would you react the opposite, where you're like, we're still in survival mode, but I'm going to allow this to be fun, encouraging, empowering. We got goals. We're going for our goals when you step into that energy.
It feels fake. But thinking about maybe other people who are going through that, I mean, I just think that what a disservice I'm doing to my kids, because if I could change that, then they wouldn't have to feel the stress of the shit that's going on the way they are. You know, like they could still have, I mean, not that their life is miserable, but they can be naive to these adult things. We can protect them from that if we're having fun and living our best life still. I don't feel like I'm putting it into words, but
and just reframing that to if I,
yeah,
because sometimes the we can't control the we, but we can control the I, and I can influence a room with my energy.
Yeah.
Just by how I show up. We all know what that feels like when someone shows up into the room and you're like, ooh, don't want to approach them, or, ooh, I'm attracted to approaching them. Mm-hmm. And our worth, I mean, there's so much to unpack here, but our worth and value has nothing to do with how much is in our bank account. Like, you know, someone's like, oh, they have all these accolades and they made this much money. And I'm like, yeah, they're an asshole and I don't want to spend any time with them. But this person is like, they're kind and respectful and intellectual. And like, I really enjoy spending time with them. I don't care how much money they have in their bank account. I don't care how many degrees they have on the wall. Like, are they a good human?
Yeah. Right.
So even if you had a shit day, let's pretend you had a shit day, and you're walking in, you're making dinner, you want to embody the energy of fun and empowerment, but you walk into the door and you're like, oh, I just brought my energy down here. I want you to just visualize walking into that house, and maybe it's heavy, maybe you're low, and you're like, how am I going to shift the energy right now to make this more fun, a more fun environment?
I'm going to turn on some music and we're going to dance in the kitchen.
Perfect.
Maybe do some Elsa twirls or something.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then when someone else isn't satisfied with your energy, or they're like, you're too much, right? Or whatever the reply is, you know, you're just doing what that little, what's that GIF, that GIF? Have you seen that guy with the yard signs?
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'm walking in. I think this was like 2020, but every year it's like, I'm walking in like this. And then he's just like sliding away from the signs. Every sign's like, bad energy, blah, blah, blah. It's like just dancing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time, I mean, we all have moments, but my husband and I got into it before breakfast. And this is when, you know, the world was open and you could actually go to a restaurant. We can't where we live right now. And he was in it and just not in a good mood. And I looked at him and I said, won't tolerate it, nor will I go to breakfast with a man-child having a tantrum. I'm getting in the car with the children. You are welcome to meet us there. Or you don't have to come. I have no attachment. I love you deeply. You're having a moment. I will not tolerate this energy in my vehicle, in my day. Or you can take the kids. I will not be going. And I said it just like that. I got in my car. I was assertive. I held my ground. And he showed up 20 minutes later and, you know, was not you could tell he was embarrassed by his behavior. And we talked about it after. And I was like, it's done. It's over. Like, there's no grudge here. Like, you had a moment. And I would do that with the kids when I started this process. Like, oh, you're whining. Oh, you're yelling at me. I can't hear you. Let me know when you're ready to talk. It would take a fucking week to have a conversation with a child. Because listen, we're so conditioned, right? We're so conditioned to react to people a certain way that these behavioral patterns, we have to lead. We are leading the change.
Yeah.
But we're expecting them. I tell people, I'm like, you're expecting a cat to bark.
Yeah.
You need to become the cat that needs to learn how to fucking bark. You need to use your voice. You need to communicate. You need to take a stand for how you want to feel. And when that energy comes towards you and you're like, oh, this is a non-negotiable. I love you deeply. I have deep respect for you as a human. And I can see you're going through a lot. I will not tolerate someone to talk to me this way. I will not tolerate this at the kitchen table. And I respect myself and you enough that I will not talk disrespectfully to you because I don't want to talk that way to myself. And it's boundaries. It's annoying, but when you hold that, you're shifting the energy for everybody. Because I always tell people, whether you stay in a relationship or go, if you're parenting children with someone, you are always in a relationship with them.
Yep. Yep.
You're like, damn it, I'm so much further from my answer.
No.
What's your aha moment?
Just it's like I've been telling myself, why am I the one? Why do I have to do it? But that's stupid because I'm the only one who can control me. So, what the other thing is that, I just need to be more, not just, but I need to be more vocal in my boundaries and saying those things, like, and not be attached to the way someone else's emotions.
Yeah.
And
And that's a process, right? So it's not a one and done. You'll be in it and be like, this isn't working until you look back and you're like, it worked, right? So it's like you have to have deep trust, deep faith, deep, like, I'll hold the belief for you. I will be like, you got this, just trust the process. I will tell you, until I took radical responsibility for my life, nothing changed. And every time I look at any area of my life, both personally and professionally, and I'm like, what was the change? Yes, there was a strategy. Yes, there was a process. Yes, there was coaches, whatever. But when people are like, oh, how did you get this? And I'm like, I took responsibility for it. Like, if you want your money to change, you have to take responsibility for it. If you want your time management to change, you have to take responsibility for it. If you want people to treat you differently, you have to set the tone for how people treat you and how you treat yourself.
Right.
And it's like, oh God, this is annoying. It's all about personal radical responsibility. And you're getting closer and closer and closer. And it's just, it's working. You're already doing the work. This awareness is, we live in a society that tells us, do not trust yourself. You do not have the answers. You're a woman, so you're considered a second-class citizen. Do as I say, not as I do. Self-care is so selfish. So I'm just going to judge you for doing anything that makes you feel good, but I'm going to expect you to feel good while you're taking care of everybody else and neglecting yourself solely. How dare you? How dare you feel good? How dare you give yourself permission to do anything? Like, yeah. And so I just look at, you know, I'm like, no, I'm not working full time and being a teacher for my children and making sure dinner's ready and doing all of this. I have limited capacity. I'm one human. Go fuck yourself culture.
Right.
So, Katie, thank you for being brave.
Thank you.
Now you'll just go home and be like, shit, crap.
Right. Got some work to do.
What did I discover about myself with Courageous Rewrite? Everything. Sorry, it was life-changing. I discovered that I am so much more capable and strong, and that there's these possibilities out there for me, and I wasn't prioritizing myself, and I didn't realize how much that was truly affecting my life, being like between being a mother, a wife, a friend, just in every single way. And once I prioritized myself, it was just blew my mind. Everything changed, and it's just been, I discovered everything.